Good day, navigators. Welcome to yet another blistering episode of Navigating Life with Viwe. But though we don't have Viwe on studio today, we always want to have her on studio. But life happens. Viwe, do come back. We miss you. But as you want, as we all wish, the show must go on. All right, today we are going to be talking about, before I tell you what we're going to be talking about, I am not alone, as Viwe would say. I am with Brian. Brian, can we talk a little bit about your jersey? Hello.
My man, let me tell you,
It's so beautiful.
My guy, it's a vintage.
Oh, yes.
And when I say vintage, my guy, this
Are
was
you allowed to share?
this was my father's jersey,
Your old man's jersey.
yeah. And when I asked him about it, why City Diamond Indomana, he bought it. I think he was in his 30s, so he would have been 80 now. So this is a 50-year-old jersey. Basically.
God rest his soul.
But 10 years
He has
this
left
year,
a
bro.
legacy there. That
10
jersey,
years this year.
He was a man of style.
True guy.
All
True
right.
guy. I was
Take
like,
good
yeah,
care
man.
of it.
Oh, I'm
Looks
trying.
good on you, man.
Listen, Anes was trying to steal it from me. My son, I'm on the way coming.
Let him have it at an appropriate time.
No, it's all right, baby. No, Pella Gumle.
Lontu. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall be talking about step parenting today. That's how serious we are. And I have no better people to actually be sharing a stage with. And I shall just be facilitating and leading the discussion. Now, with step parenting, people have had various experiences. They've had success stories. They've had low ends, low ebbs. And we are today thinking that with couples of all dynamics, people should go on premarital counseling. But it looks like a premarital counseling that involves step parenting is one of a different standard. What are your views, Luntu, regarding people and preparing themselves for blended families to start with?
If I had counseling about blended family, it would have helped. I mean, there's certain situations that you could have dealt with better, wiser.
Yeah.
There are certain situations that you could have then understood. Guys, kunzima man, God. Like, honestly, step parenthood, inzima. And if you're not equipped, you don't have the right tools. Because remember, these are lives.
Yeah.
These are lives that you have to parent, mentor, nurture, love. So if you don't have the right tools, or you are given the right, like Zotina, knowledge beforehand, then the journey becomes, you just wing it most of the time.
It is difficult already with normal, if I may call it
Normal
that.
kids.
With your
very
own kids.
With your very own.
In the
yes.
traditional family setup. But how much more now with these other dynamics where you've got your kids who are not necessarily your biological kids?
And also, and speaking from a personal experience, I remember because my wife and I were both married previously, right? And we have kids from our previous marriages.
All right.
Now, walking into a relationship, you are walking into a dynamic where kids, and I mean, mine is not the only one. I've had chats with friends of mine whom we all met, and we were going through the same thing in the manner, oh, Philip, so you're also a step parent type of thing. And some of the stories you hear are such that in Dobana, this kid doesn't like me, Okanye, they some of the experiences that they had, Amachita, for instance, I can't mention names, but I remember the one dude was saying in Dobana, except like Lindona, he hates me as if I destroyed the relationship between his mother and his biological father. So you're dealing with those kind of souls and those kind of kids, and it depends at what age you meet them. And obviously now you are a new parent, they're going to act out because this is my mom, you're not my dad. And as you grow, it comes out in the one, you're not my dad, and you're like, hey yo, but there's a difference between a father and a dad.
I'm not really a child of a divorce.
Yeah.
But it would be my perennial wish that my parents are always together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have witnessed children that come from divorced families having the same aspiration as well, to say, if I would change one thing in this world, it would be for my parents to get
To
back
have been together, yeah.
So no matter how noble your intentions are, it looks like you are likely to face that bit of hostility from the children that feel disgruntled.
And sometimes from the families
From
as
the
well.
family
And
as
sometimes
well.
from the family
Yeah.
as well that you are walking into. If you're going to be marrying into this family, sometimes
Yeah.
you'll even experience that hostility from the family itself. Apart from the kids might accept you, but you guys are in a relationship. But there might be some
Yes.
hostility that you receive from there for no reason. Futi.
Tell us more about that kind of hostility.
Bro.
Because I'm playing a scenario in my head where, when people get divorced, it's got, well, sometimes it can have something to do with the greater family, but sometimes it's got nothing to do with the greater family.
Yeah.
And the family that you're marrying into, you invest in great relations with them. Now you are at loggerheads with the person that is your spouse, but you still have grand relations with their aunts,
With the
their
family.
uncles,
Bro.
and everyone. And now there comes this new partner who will see that as some sort of a betrayal or an organized plot against you when they are still in cahoots with the previous spouse. I can imagine.
Yes, it was. It's funny you should say that. Oh, this is coming back to me. No, I'm.
Well, no.
No. Because,
you.
because no, I've been through it.
Yeah.
I've been through it,
Oh,
and I
all
mean,
right.
I'll tell you the honest truth. With my ex-wife, for instance, right? I know for a fact, like she will. They still ask, "How is she?" Hey, how is she doing? Naturally, she's the mother of the first batch of children.
Yes.
As Abakoyo Kwandevu.
And they cannot just unlove.
They can't.
I like
They
the fact
can't
that it says the
unlove
first
her.
batch.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! There's a second batch with my second wife. Come on now.
Chisa.
No,
on,
but the thing is, and I had to be adult enough to say when I entered into a relationship with my wife. Now I said to my family in Dobana, listen, I don't expect you to break relations with my ex-wife.
Right.
Just because Nana yet did not work out.
Yeah.
You are free to communicate with her as much as you please. Please continue your relationship here. However, do accept that now we are here.
Right.
There is someone else that is now here, and she needs to be accepted as much as. You know what I mean? So
Got it.
I was adult enough to say that, and it's something that that literally had to be. Yo, man, listen, I understand the dynamics. I'm divorced now. I'm getting married again. So here's what needs to happen. Whether or not that happens naturally, it's
I think that's
because
what,
they will always be a favorite.
Yeah.
They will always be a
There will
favorite.
always be
You know what
that
I mean?
preferred
They will always be a favorite,
in-law.
even with the kids. You're not my dad, but I'll submit to your rule of law because you.
I was fortunate, guys. Honestly, I think my mom prayed so hard that at some point, as much as my marriage didn't work,
Yeah.
we actually got the family part
Right.
correct. We didn't get ourselves, but the family parts.
Yeah.
Sure.
My stepdaughter, love her so much. I think when I got married, she was about 10, 11. You know,
And that's a ripe age.
it is a ripe age. And this is what people do not understand. When you're a step parent, you get so scared. There are times that you think,
Ubhadlile lo mntana lo,
and
like
uyoyika uba lo mntana Thixo ezandleni zam makaphume, you know, ezandleni zam kuphume umuntu. I don't wanna, you don't wanna crush the child, because already the fact that you are here and you're a step and the parent isn't the one ahleli notatakhe ahlale nomamakhe notatakhe, you know, already that's an, and you could tell sometimes Shemba, in her heart of hearts, she would have wanted daddy and mommy
together. Yeah.
but it, and in the Africa Muslim in the situation, so daddy and mommy aren't together. And but time, I always say time is your best ally in things, because now as she grew up and as she got to understand and see the world, see our failures as her parents, you know, and start to humanize us,
Oh my.
because it's very important that parents are humanized, to know that they won't be perfect.
Of course. No
They
one
will
is.
not
I
be
think-
perfect.
No one is.
I think we all endeavor to love these kids. If I can just for a moment share a story, go Brazil, ne?
Yeah.
I think many years ago, I listened to an interview where he was explaining his double barrel surname.
Yeah.
Brazil,
Make
Make
Kancube.
Kancube,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Apparently, I'm not sure which one, whether it was a Make or a Ncube. That was his actual biological father, but he decided to acknowledge both of them
Both,
because
yeah,
of the
yeah.
relationship he had with his stepfather. So he thought he will never actually there will never be a moment in his life where he doesn't acknowledge it. Such that when it was revealed to him that
This is your stepfather.
I don't know if I'm conflating stories, but I'll tell you of another one. But so basically it's predicated on the fact that he was a good man to him.
Okay.
He was a good father to him. So that
great
is
example.
a success story
Yeah.
of step parenting.
Yeah.
Right. And another example, I was listening to SAFM. This gentleman calls in on a radio on a talk show.
Yeah.
I can't remember which show it was, but it was an afternoon slot. He says there was a time when his parents told him that, look, your actual father, when he came of age,
Yeah.
your actual father is so and so. All right, all along we've been raising you, but your actual biological father. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm still your father. So he says what he did was take his father, then that was part of the reveal, the big reveal,
Okay.
and he took him to the bedroom and he said, listen here, let me never ever hear you tell me that you're not my father again. You are my father and you're not going anywhere.
Wow.
Now this man is trying to do the right thing
By telling
by
him,
disclosing the
listen,
identity
yeah.
of the father, but the son refuses to hear any of it.
Sees
He
him
says, okay,
as-
fine, I appreciate it, but I still want you to be my dad.
Yeah.
You know? So there are success stories. Now, what do you do when you are in a situation, you are marrying into, you are blending with this family,
Yeah.
right? They've got their biological parent. What is your attitude towards maintenance of relations between the children and their biological father as a new head of this home?
I think it depends on the presence of the biological father.
The relationship.
Whether or not he is there emotionally, financially for his kids.
Let's say yes, he's a good man.
Let's say no, he's not.
All right, we'll get to that
What-
one.
We'll get to that part.
What do you
We'll get to that part.
what do you do when he's not, and now you are walking into, let's say, mhlawumbi, like
But shouldn't matter though. I think it shouldn't. But what is your attitude originally?
originally your attitude kaloku, by the time you walk into a relationship where there are kids, you know into yobana awuloboli mama yedwa okanye chiri yodwa, ulobola nabantwana.
Right.
So you are taking them as your responsibility to begin with. You are saying to that family, by the time ulobola into yobana, these are now my children,
Uzobathatha abantwana bakho.
and I shall take care of them as their father.
So
Now, let's also differentiate between father and dad. Father is a sperm donor, literally. Dad is a state of presence.
okay.
You can be a dad to someone without being the sperm donor. Someone can identify and look at you as, Ndobana, that's my dad.
Right.
Is he your father? No, he's not my biological father, but that's my dad. He's a dad to me. You know what I mean? So that's how I differentiate the two.
I'm interested in that analogy.
Yeah.
I like it that you have paid your dues, right? In terms of taking over the family.
Yeah.
You're taking over as a husband.
Yeah.
You're taking over as a father
Yeah.
to your spouse's children.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But that does not express any sentiment towards the biological father.
No. It expresses nothing towards the
It
back.
expresses nothing. So what remains your residual attitude after you have done your part? Do you have that protectionism,
Of course.
over your kids?
Of
To say
course.
you are not allowed, you shall sever ties with your biological father. Is that a
Oh
natural?
no! Absolutely not.
That was
Oh,
a
no.
resounding
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely
That is
not.
what I was asking.
Yo,
in terms of the
no.
attitude. You don't do that. So
No,
your attitude
no,
is,
no.
yes, he is allowed to have
Yeah.
access and relations.
Please, take them every 2 weeks. I need a break. I need my wife alone.
Okay, wait.
I need my wife alone.
I'm gonna come in
No,
from.
you want to come in. Now I've got an attitude.
Yeah.
Look, for me, it just depends on the relationship.
Also,
Like the kind, yes, it depends on the relationship, the kind of man he is. Yes, the kids are there. You want them to have access to their biological parent.
Yeah.
But in them having access to their biological parent, it depends, guys, for me, heavily, the protection comes in. What kind of a person this person is.
What kind of parent they are? Yeah.
What kind of a parent are they? So I'm not going to have my kids. Yes, they're not mine because they didn't get into my womb.
But
they mine by virtue of me marrying.
I am their protector.
Yes, I'm their protector. So I'm not going to give you my kids and drop my kids off. And when from the time my kids are there till the time my kids leave.
Bro.
So abantwana mama banalo ixesha lokuhlala nawe babonde as their mother. Or who called this partner of yours that's very toxic.
But for as long as they are with their biological parent, they are under his stewardship, right? At what point now do we dictate how he handles parenting these kids?
I dictate at that point.
You
Okay,
dictate at that
navigators,
point?
I'm sorry, there are points where there are things where I'm driven by emotion. Whereas we are sonke, we have the right not to take a child in an area where uyazi into uba isafety yomntanakho
Might be compromised.
might be compromised.
I'm sure there's a way to work around that and bring all parties together. But I'm just saying there cannot be self-same approach to parenting, right? The kids themselves will realize when that environment becomes a concern to them, and they will share with people that they trust with that information.
But what
You
if
are
the kids
likely
are
to pick it up.
minors?
But at what point now does it become clear to you that the kind of supervision that they have under their biological parent is not suitable for their age?
You can
How do you pick that up?
you can always tell. Kids will always show signs, or they will always give you an indication of whether or not
Something's wrong.
whether or not they are happy, or whether something is wrong. They will always give you some kind of indication. And now it's your duty to ask Indobana, how was it at so and so's place? How was it at mommy's place this weekend? How was it at daddy's place this weekend? No. Mommy or daddy was out with their friends, so we were at home with the auntie the whole weekend until you came and picked us up. That's the truth coming out, right? So now then you get to make a decision in Dobana. Do I really want my kids to be there for what is termed as parental supervision and what is allowed by the law in a divorce decree, right? When I know in Dobana Lomzali Lona is not going to be there and Abandona are going to be with the auntie alone, then you start asking yourself those questions and you start setting parameters. Then you engage with that person in Dobana. Except Abandona are complaining that when you're not around, when they are there to visit, as a result, they miss spending time with you. I remember a drawing by my son, and I was working, and I was constantly working. I had to work on weekends, bro. And he drew a picture when we had to take him through for e-therapy, right? While we were going through a divorce with my ex. And he drew a picture of himself and his sister and at the house, but me on a phone standing which clearly indicates that daddy is always on his phone.
Sure.
And that comes from a therapist's perspective in Dobana Umdana Uti, and when I talk to him, he says you're always on the phone.
Were you
And
upset
no, I wasn't.
to discover the truth about you, the ugly truth?
No, it broke me down, bro. It broke me down in Dobana Flip. The amount of time I spend with my kids is critical.
It was a moment of realization.
Yeah.
becomes
It was a flip. Okay, cool.
It
If
becomes-
this is how the kids feel, then flip. I need to change some ish around. You know.
I think in these settings, we need to consider how kids feel.
Absolutely.
Now, these kids mature and they come of age and they reach their milestones.
Yeah.
And they formulate their
Yeah.
own opinions. Now, this child goes to varsity, right? Under the blending setting.
Yeah.
And it's I can't wait.
You just
Now we are graduate. She goes on a graduation and she's got 5 tickets.
Yeah.
Right? Or so.
why-
They are given a number.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then she says, okay, based on these 5 tickets, I've decided that I want both my biological parents. No offense to Udedi Mawetu. Udedi Mawetu, I acknowledge him. He does everything for me. He pays for my school fees. He does everything I want from a dad, right? But this is a once and only once moment for me, and I want to grace this occasion with both my biological parents.
Yeah.
In other words, it already excludes the current dad,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So how do you navigate around such dynamics then? How do you navigate that terrain? Before you share your personal story,
Yeah.
just don't forget that part.
Yeah.
I keep saying that it's difficult being a step parent because you're supposed to be there but invisible. Right? You're supposed to help, but then your help shouldn't be forward. And especially when the kids have transcended and grown, right? If they now are grown kids, you cannot be as super involved with as if it were your own kids.
Yeah.
You have to wait for the invitation and then you come in. I mean, that relationship is dependent on the child.
Yeah.
Whims of the child.
But on the whims of the child, how they want it to go. So you are constantly on...
Always.
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 Depends. It depends on if your stepdaughter doesn't
I
want to have a
can
relationship
understand, Luntu, if a child has attained majority in
Yes.
terms of age, right? But while they're still a minor, I think by law we can still make decisions for them. Even though it is argued that kids are allowed to their own agency. I think when people are arguing the statutes and the constitution, they've got those ideas that they want to, surge into the public domain.
No, I think
but this is where the child now is able to make their own decisions. And to have their own ideas. To say, okay, I am consciously making a decision to say, with a limited number of tickets, if I am to choose between the dad that would live with at home with my mom's current husband, and my biological father, I choose my biological father.
Okay.
Different scenario. Yeah.
But Wes, I think even there, it depends on the relationship between the parents,
Right.
right?
Okay.
It depends on the synergy between the parents.
Which
Because-
parents? The tripartite alliance or the two?
No, but here's a scenario.
Government
Here's
national
a
unit.
scenario.
Yeah.
I once went to a friend's wedding, right?
Right. Okay.
His mom was there and his stepdad, right?
Okay.
And his stepmom was there as well, and his dad. So when they are then introducing the families to the bride's family, to the bride's family, they introduce them, but because you didn't ask that the parents must not like each other, they must divorce.
Yeah.
Ngelaphi yena? But
Yeah.
I liked the dignity of how it was done.
Yeah.
Because Tina Bondaba. sihleli
Oh, I want the buzz out in.
What amount
I want
of
the
drama
buzz out in.
we
is
want
gonna
to
pan
see
out?
the stepmom. We want,
Yeah.
and especially knowing that at some point in time there was a
A bit of beef,
a
yeah.
bit of beef. So we wanted to see, and I loved what his biological mother did. His biological mother stood, and when he had a chance to speak, he said, "Umdana is raised by a community,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Takes a village to raise
yes,
a child.
The
Yeah.
son you see today, who has become a man, I wasn't the only mother who raised him.
Yeah.
Makaphaka monna wakhe bekumele basithetha sobabini apha.
It takes a very decent person to acknowledge and be cognizant of Londo Leyo to
Yes.
say in Dobana, hey, we are co-parenting here. It takes
So
a
you have
it
to
ta-
acknowledge the entire
The
parentage.
entire
Bro.
parentage. Remember, I said in Zokbalisela a story.
Yes.
When my
yes,
stepdaughter
please
was
cover.
17, I called her and we were just and just checking up how school was, because she really was stressed about school most of the time. So in our conversation, we end up right? Siyamhleba mos sonke. And then I don't know why it got to that point where I had to reassure her that I'm just chat, I'm not guys, until us, the last one, is like in varsity.
Yeah.
So I'm not thinking about marriage. I'm just too tired, and I'm just surviving to make sure that you guys are okay.
Yeah.
With decent wives or decent human beings in the world.
Yeah.
So then she says to me, Mama, like the dad had a girlfriend at the time. It's like, Mama, khawuthethe nomntu wakho tana angachati. I'm like, what? Khawuthethe nalamntu wakho angachati. Mama, can you imagine if Utata gets married? I'm like, Then I have other siblings that I have to look after. Dinazo apa. Then there's more siblings.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the pressure? And Mama is that by mess.
Yeah.
So when she was saying this, I was in the kitchen. I went and I sat on the couch, and I was like, okay, why do you say this, baby?
Flip.
And she says, Mama, I'm going to be matric soon.
Yeah.
So for my matric dance, who's going to be there?
Yeah.
You, or if Utata gets married, that lady.
This new chick, yeah.
So I'm like, Mama, on my graduation, who goes?
Flip.
When I get married.
It's a smart kid.
When I get married, Mama, who then
Yeah.
do we introduce as my mom?
Yeah.
Remember, I have a biological
That's a
mom.
smart kid.
But who then? Mama, all right. Let me, and the entire time I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
Uzophendula uthini,
Yo.
bro?
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Uzophendula uthini?
hayi, kaloku. It's
What
like,
do you
okay,
say?
nanku
Yeah.
mama umcimbi. And mama uyazazi bunjani. Kukho umsebenzi apha
And,
ekhaya.
and human psychology, operates quite very. It defies logic, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because let's say you were to speak to your ex and carry the message from your daughter.
Uba brass
Yeah.
utshate.
The
It would
one
be
I aim.
as though this is for your own end.
Yeah.
Especially at that time when she was
Yeah.
dating, especially at that time when she was
Uyabona?
dating that lady.
Izaba ngathi
yes.
oh unomono okanye usandifuna back. Usandifuna
Especially at that
usene-cheat.
So I then had to reassure this child and say, okay, from my point, trust me,
Yeah.
I'm not bringing any person or someone wenu anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because I need to ensure when you're the oldest, your other sister comes after you. I need
Yeah.
to ensure that everyone is independent and grand.
Yeah.
Then, otherwise, don't worry. I think, Mama, mess.
No,
I
listen.
was like,
Listen, kids feel it a different way. I mean, and they do express themselves. Dude, like, you've got a new person in your life and you've got kids with and that's how these kids voice themselves now. I kid you not, they do. And you end up sitting there and you overhear this and you think to yourself, flip, how do I reprimand? And it goes right down to how do you reprimand a stepchild? When you know indobana wena ibhandi uyayikhupha apha kulona wakho umntana, now the sin is as equal as lona wakho, how do you reprimand payana? What do you say when you reprimand? Because now you're dealing with a different
and there's a lot of guilt that comes with it. There's a lot of guilt. I remember a time when both of them were equally wrong, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I shouted, I yelled, and I then, instead of me actually taking the belt and hitting them, I was like, okay, even better lo wam lo ndimiyeke. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's complicated as it is with your own two biological children. There's always that argument that, no, you seem to be preferring so and so to me. Every time there's conflict between every time so and so and I
You
have an
defend who's
argument,
ban.
you're always taking so and so's side. So I can imagine how
The
severe.
dynamics, it's
now-
even a decision
now
that
you
you're
step
going to
parenting.
take, when you're going to take a decision that involves this child, it's not a decision you take alone
Yeah.
with the father of this
I
child.
like that.
It's a decision you take with the father of this child. The family of this child must be consulted.
Yeah.
In something saying, It's going to
Yeah.
be routine. But now you have to have all these different consultations because you, the step person in this scenario, yayazi uba akangowakho wedwa. You have no final say. Instead,
Yes,
There's a, yeah.
sorry, just last point when I remember when I met my wife, right? And I used to say in Dobana, there's going to come a time when Elijah is going to need to go to the bush. Because look. And in as much as I am a dad to him, he's going to need his father at that point and at that time.
Right.
He's going to need more his father at that point and not just me. Ewa will be there to support, but he's going to need his father.
Because of the depth of the understanding.
Because of
that you have towards the practice.
Exactly. And these are the things that we need to consider in Dobana. You can't just now think you are going to get there and overwrite or write this guy or this person out of these children's lives just because you are now the new person in their lives. You can't write them out. You need to acknowledge the fact that they are going to be needed at some point and somewhere and in some way. And you need to acknowledge that yours is to create a comfortable environment where you know in Dobana you are able to talk to this person in Dobana. Say, listen, man, we are 3 years away from this guy going to the bush, so you need to start preparing yourself. In fact, over the next 2 years, maybe this guy should come and stay with you so that you can prepare him.
That's very cordial.
You know what I mean?
Very cordial, considerate.
You have to be,
So,
bro.
yeah, there is another scenario. A very close friend of mine shared with me that his close friend actually was in a blended marriage.
Yeah.
And he was a good husband to the wife and a good stepfather to the kids, right? He was doing everything for the girl, right? And the girl is appreciative of the efforts of the father. I mean, he's paying for the schooling and it's kids that go to, these expensive schools.
Prestigious schools, yeah.
Prestigious schools, I mean, which is a natural choice for modern parents.
Yeah.
So it happened that the child overheard, because I think the biological father, who's the ex to the mom, is somewhat somebody that is now currently unemployed, right?
Okay.
But very doting towards this child.
Towards his daughter, yeah.
He would have, the last spare 2 rand of his airtime and he'd finish it off on his daughter, checking on her. He always comes in the right moments at the right time.
Yeah.
Now, the daughter overhears the current parents now, the blended parents, right? Gossiping about the biological father.
Ish.
They say the girl becomes very, not openly defiant and rebellious, but she gives them that passive aggression. When they give her food she doesn't want, she just goes and she locks herself in a bedroom, protesting against, That is when they tell that this child is in love with her father.
With the
She wants
biological
nothing
father.
to do with the biological. She has accepted that the conditions are such that the two biological parents cannot be together anymore. And the mother is happier in this relationship. And the mother is not necessarily married to a bad guy. The guy is actually a good guy.
Yeah.
But to an extent that he does not come between the daughter and the biological father.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think we need to be careful as parents, right? How we influence our children against their main parents.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there?
Actually, that's right. And as a parent, you think of your child last. Your anger takes over. Because uzawuba nento ethi undikhala kakhulu utata wenu akenzi ne, all of those things. Or with friends, kaloku chomi, go wafa efithela umnqwazi. We forget that there is a child here
Yeah.
who comes from this man. And the lens you see the partner or your ex-partner or what are different from the lens the child will see their dad.
Yeah.
So we break the child,
Yeah.
and
True.
and for me it becomes a big thing. And I always say, even if like with my ex, I always say, "Fonelani tata wenu,"
Yeah.
because I don't want it coming off as if they have their own issues, they must have their own issues with their father.
Right.
Sure.
Not
They mustn't be instigated
they
by
must
you.
be instigated by
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And obviously, if their father has somebody in his life, and
Right.
hey, uyapopa nomntu wakhe,
Yeah.
that relationship yeyabo.
Absolutely.
Mayengandichaphazeli.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mna, I'm
got
here
no
if,
bearing.
if things go south, ndizawuqokelela mna.
But not. But
I
not,
mean, the opposite is also true, Brian.
sure.
Opposite is also true, Brian. Or do you want to say something regarding
No,
that?
I want to experience another perspective, right? So how do you then, for instance, I went in Jammu City, if they got another person in their lives and they're popping off, right? What if at that moment where that person is popping off, because and this is an interesting dynamic and it's an existing dynamic for many of our navigators as well, where the other partner is doing well but not necessarily taking care of the responsibilities when it comes to the kids. So do you not Kengogo as the parent who is the primary, right, caregiver, not have an emotional reaction to that person popping off and yet not taking care of because now you have emotionally now you are already there into bana ungqela kakubi, he's popping off,
So chill, so qinile.
you know what I mean, ungqela kakubi, he's popping off and yet he's not taking care of the kids here.
My goodness. Yeah. I
it's
mean,
another
all-
interesting
it's all
dynamic.
the
This is why I
meanness
said-
that plays itself in.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's
I mean-
why I said you then you become emotional first.
Yeah,
You then consider the child after so to
yeah,
because isihlangu masitya wena. Like
Yes.
you are the one.
You just explode.
Yes, you're exploding, and
Yeah.
and you are justified.
yeah.
But so is the child. Uba,
Yeah.
you know, at his or her ears should not at any point hear
Catch.
Catch
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Look, I think
Now-
it's very difficult to control that kind of emotional outburst or that kind of outburst, but also to everyone that is watching, and to all our navigators, I think it's important for us to be cognizant of what we say when we say it. I'll make a typical example. For instance, when my parents used to argue about anything, it used to be between 3 and 4 in the morning when they knew that the kids were sleeping,
Yeah.
and they would argue in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I'd be walking to the toilet and
Yeah.
there's a full-on conversation. And that's the argument. You wake up in the morning, like say you were scrolling, it's as if nothing happened.
Right.
Life continues.
Yeah.
So as parents, we need to hide it from our kids. Whatever disagreement we are having, we need to try and hide it as much away from our kids because it has an impact on
Well,
our children as they
Not
grow.
if you've got a voice like my father's. My father
Hey,
tries
bro.
by all means to hide the arguments that he has with my mom from the kids. Sometimes even when they are having a very good conversation, you think they are fighting because of my father's voice. By the way, the opposite is also true.
Yeah.
Kids are manipulative.
Yes.
Even without being in a blended family setting,
much
in a traditional, what we'd call normal in inverted
Yeah,
commas,
bro.
family, where there's a mom and a dad and their own kids. Kids are just in the nature of being manipulative. So I can imagine how severe that becomes when
You're a step.
yeah, absolutely. So this is where now a child would actually go to the territory of another parent and give a misrepresenting account of what happens in their home, or come back from the visits and give a misrepresenting account of what happens in the father's child.
Yo.
Because they know how sensitive the parents
Yo.
are.
And then
So
they
I
just
think-
they light the fire and they just
And they
So-
watch. Yes, and they just
Bart-
watch it
Bart
unfold.
Simpson.
and
Bart Simpson.
sometimes poor parenting dictates that how dare they do this to my child? My child is telling me
your
ABC,
natural reaction is
without
to
making
attack.
your own investigations
Yeah.
and decent conversations about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So I think, how do we realign then when we have kids giving us these reports?
Look, Namawethu, I always and this is what I go by. Time is the best ally in all things.
Yeah.
Because when your child comes back and tells you that Tata o tatubani undibethile,
Man.
you know, instinct will want you to pick up a spear and forge ahead. But there also has to be wisdom Because
I
you know your child.
love.
Yeah.
There also has to be wisdom on how you then navigate where a conversation with your ex-partner should happen. Because there's always two, three sides to a story. And a conversation with the guy who is there looking after your child, you know, and a honest conversation where
Yeah.
you put your cards out to say, I'm just, you know, she's a sensitive child. She's just the truth, because Simadalamos.
What are the parameters,
What are the parameters? Yes.
around parenting my child?
Yes, the truth will.
Do
will
you hit or
surface.
do you-
The truth will surface.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Because you know your child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your child has certain traits, Zako, or someone you know in the family.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you will know, but better ngestina lo. You know?
Yangixabanisa.
Yangixabanisa.
Yeah.
And they get good to it because they use the emotion part
Yeah.
and the guilt part.
Yeah.
So if you exercise wisdom,
Yeah.
my ex-husband used to say when we get to issues like that, Ati, khayeke lala, yeke. Xesha lizawusivezela.
Well, guys, I have an aunt who adores me. And now once she's had one too many, she'd be like, Emma, wait. You must just let whoever is going to be potentially your wife right now, that whatever empire you've amassed for yourself right now belongs to you and your children.
Chisa.
And whatever belongs
Chisa.
to you and that potential wife is something that you must build from the ground up.
Chisa.
So let's talk about these unrealistic
Chisa.
family
Yo.
expectations.
Bro.
Tell me about it, because
Wes.
I'm just imagining a situation where I'm literally telling my
Wes.
spouse right now that, listen here, bro, whatever you find here,
Bro.
you have none of it.
Let me make
This
you.
is gonna- yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
sure.
make you an example, right? And it's funny you should mention this because right now, Meghan and Harry are divorcing, right?
Really?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Apparently they.
Are they?
Apparently they're about
Please,
to divorce.
somebody check
right?
that out. Check the veracity of all of
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
What,
Apparently
this
they're
is
about to
big.
divorce, and apparently, like, she wants what is deserved to a wife, according to,
A duchess.
of course, now.
Oh my
But now here's the interesting thing.
After Harry,
People are saying, you know, but now Meghan forgets that Diana came from a castle herself, from Windsor herself. So it's not like when she divorced, she was given a castle. So Meghan does not expect, you know, when she's going to get a castle. Everything that belongs to Harry is under the estate. So she'll get a child maintenance, but not isn't the estate. So to respond to exactly what it is that what you're saying.
Yeah.
From the ground up, man, it doesn't exist only with utabs. It's not only utabs.
Kuyathathwa family.
Kuyathathwa family.
It's not just the peasants, it's the grand homes. as well.
Angacinga ifane uzofika azothatha ingomo zalapha aziseko
Akho
akhe
kwakhe.
Yeah.
akho kwakhe.
Ukhona
Wow.
ukhona
All right.
umfazi ebekhona apha. Ukhona umfazi walapha.
It's gone
Oh
deeper
my
now.
goodness,
It's gone
yeah.
deeper.
No, it gets deeper, guys. Gotta remember, you are a step.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
deeper.
yeah.
I mean,
You're a step. You're coming in.
Yeah.
There was a wife in this family
Yeah.
that everyone adored
Yeah.
and everyone loved, and because you guys didn't work, right?
Yeah.
Now the script is changing, and unfortunately, not everyone is going to tune in at the same time.
Sure.
So you will have those family members. Ekichini, while this new wife, ekhona ebusiness sebenza, kuthiwe,
Hey, they'll-
azayirhalela beetroot kamarhatebe.
oh my goodness, no. Okay, that's spicy.
They throw those jabs. They throw those jabs.
No,
Jay.
they do.
That's spicy. So that's why I'm saying it needs counseling of a special type.
It does, brother.
Because you will find
Brother.
those jabs, those subliminals, those
It does.
snide remarks, and
I had a friend, right?
Yeah.
She married a guy. She got into this relationship knowing, and she didn't have a kid,
Yeah.
right? And usisi uyasebenza, unamandla usisi.
Mm.
So life for my guy turned. Kids went into a private school,
Okay.
right?
Nice.
Because these are my kids. I'm raising them with their dad. Their mom remarried.
Yeah.
right.
So umami nje remarried. Things don't work out pa.
Sure.
Yabo? The mummy then divorces, goes through life of money settlement yakhe, funa abantwana. Now this is a fight. Now the spicy aunts, right? Don't like this one because akazali nozala.
Ish.
Right?
Yo. Gee.
So the spicy aunts are
Yeah.
advocating that the kids must go to the biological mom. So she says, I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
But andizu kaloku ubhuti ubhutiza akanamandla ncam amandla ndim.
Yeah, alapha kum.
Alapha kum and ke andizufita ngapha lifestyle kasisiza. Andizukwazi.
Nakaqhubeke nobomi bakhe. Mna, in my household, that is where they will be
This is-
fed. If they
yes.
don't want, they must be fed in
Because
that
kaloku,
in
in
that
my
household.
we bought this house. We bought this really big, expensive house that I pay expensively, knowing that ubhutiza unabantwana abathathu. So each child has their own room.
Ngoku ke xa bezawuhamba,
So-
it's fine.
So it's fine.
Ndizawuhoya le ndlu.
Ndizawuhoya le ndlu mna, but into endingazuyenza.
Apha
Because
baya-
the expectation will be ububhutiza njengoba yena le yakhe imali encinci.
Makakhuphe isupport.
Izawukhupha isupport phaa and kaloku
Isupport
bathathu,
izawuphuma kum. Damn.
izawuphuma kum. Yes, guys, this is a reality.
And that is a flipping
It is a reality.
unrealistic.
And the
that
kids
that
are
is
in
what you
boarding-
define
and
as
the
an
kids are in boarding-
unrealistic
and kids are in
expectation.
expensive private schools, prestigious schools. So andizukwazi, guys. No. And
Oh.
naye mna apha.
Damn.
Looks like you guys have burned out already.
Hey?
Now let's talk about the burnout, the
Which is what
fatigue
causes this.
that is caused.
Yeah.
By the unrealistic expectations, bro.
Yeah. Of step parenting.
Guys,
Share any-
Whereas, I'll tell you now, and we always keep on referring to this point up we're navigating life with Viwe.
Yeah.
In Dobana, you can't pour from an empty cup.
it's true.
Hey.
It gets to a point where you are pouring so much out of an empty cup where you just on some flip it. There are people out there, my man, who know in Dobana, I would rather walk to work and back than to know in Dobana abantwana bam don't have ukutya kwe-lunch. Ngomso okanye don't have i-transport yofika esikolweni. Or know into bana 20 rand ye data that they need because umntana is at school, right? There are people out there who go to that extent. Yobana, I will take whatever left. I will, in fact, quite my dinner itself, I will leave some over so that I have lunch to carry tomorrow, so that my kids have something else to eat. So there are people who experience life to that extent, and there are people who give of themselves to that extent. And that's literally the last kind of sense of burnout that you feel, where it's just financial. It starts emotionally and psychologically. In Dobana, mentally, you start having outbursts, for instance, towards your kids because you can't cope with the pressure
You start
of,
yelling.
you know what I mean? So it will start mentally. Then emotionally, you start, it starts giving itself off, and eventually it permeates towards financially. In Dobana, I just don't know anymore.
My goodness.
And it leads to another topic that we need to have, because Galogo, some people then eventually decide in Dobana, let me just check out.
No, please.
But that's another topic. That's
Before
another
we
topic
even
for
go
another
there,
day.
Before we
Yeah,
even
yeah.
go there, I am thinking in a scenario when we talk about burnout. I'll
Yeah.
just make this quick story. It's not a story, it's a real life story, Navigators.
Yeah.
Where my friend is in this relationship, right? And she's happy, she's really happy. Of course, everyone has kids in this relationship.
Yeah.
But the partner or the girlfriend or ex-wife of the partner puts in a restraining order against this other lady, my friend.
Yeah.
So then it means this person who's invested in being a good stepmom or just being there for their partner, loving the child, is invested in the highs and the lows of the child.
Of these children, right?
Of these
Yes.
children.
Yeah.
As well, isn't
Naturally.
she truly is invested.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so now she is being given a court order that wena mgama akho sisters ulapha. So you can imagine how that makes her feel. So you can imagine how what she goes through.
Yeah.
She wants to be there for her partner,
Yeah.
wants to support her partner. She's also has a relationship with this child. So suddenly, and she's a good person.
Yeah.
I don't say that because she's my friend, but she is a good person.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, she now has to be there but not there.
I think, depending on the relationship that your friend has with the child or the children, right? The children should be able to decide, especially when they are of sound mind and at the ripe age of being able to decide whether or not this is a bad person for me or not. And that restraining order can be challenged, I believe. It would be a matter, and it would be a petty matter of having to go to court and now exposing kids to that kind of system. Do you guys feel threatened when this person is around? The kids are going to say no. Who looks petty now? The person that went and got the restraining
But
order.
yes, mommy was petty because he was weaponizing.
Yeah, weaponizing the
Yes,
kids,
weaponizing
which is
the
absolutely,
kids.
which is absolutely wrong. That's, and this is the thing, we should not be using the kids as weapons at any point.
No.
Abantwana, if they
Or
are
as a fighting stage.
or as a fighting, bro, if the kids are supposed to be at a family event and it is a traditional event, irrespective of whether or not your Christian or whatever religious belief you have says that my children will not be there, you were married to this person. You knew that these kids are supposed to attend these traditional events. This is their home tradition. So those kids need to go. You didn't work out with
Let
the
go of
parent.
control, total control.
You know what I mean? You can't block.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I don't think we can talk about these matters exhaustively, but I hope the little we talk about is managing to at least move the needle. We need to influence South Africa positively. We need to influence the world positively, the global village positively. Again, children must be loved, they must be nurtured, they must be appreciated. They are full of life, and a whole lot is expected from them. So we need to be responsible in shaping that future, and children need to be loved.
Yeah.
But children must be corrected when they err. To err is human, but let's find effective ways of correcting and of understanding our kids and correcting them. And as parents, let's never use our children, no matter how tempting, to fight the battles that are due and that accrue to adults.
Oh, yes.
Let us not use them for our own nefarious ends. But whenever we find ourselves in parenting dynamics where we co-parent with people we have chosen not to like anymore, we can at least choose to be codependent and coexist in forming a very workable relationship, loving these children, nurturing them, so that we do not continue the cycle of brokenness.
Yeah.
It's a wrap, navigators. Thank you very much for watching.